Right, so that is what President-elect William Ruto had to say about the petition at the Supreme Court. But then just where is President Uhuru Kenyatta, and why has he been silent since the declaration of William Ruto as a president-elect? This is the question that supporters of both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio Alliance have been asking, given that he's yet to even congratulate the president-elect. Communication experts are however saying the president could be playing safe as he awaits for the outcome of the Supreme Court verdict, given that his preference to succeed him was well known. And as our senior political affairs reporter Chris Thairo now tells us, President Uhuru Kenyatta might continue occupying that position until the end of the year or even early next year.
The last time that outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta was seen in public outside State House buildings and in the full glare of cameras was 18 days ago during the day of elections, when he went out to vote at Mutomo polling station in Ishaweri, Gatundu South constituency.
Well, this is a day of voting. I think this is the day where we all want to pray that Kenyans vote, turn out and vote in peace, go back to their homes as we await the result.
However, in two separate occasions at State House Nairobi, the president has held closed-door discussions with three teams. One, when was visiting U.S. Senator Chris Coons, and who was leading a delegation of U.S. Senate and House representatives, paid him a courtesy call at State House Nairobi. The other two occasions was when religious leaders from different denominations paid him a visit at the same State House, and later followed by election observers. During the three meetings, it is said that the president promised to remain steadfast in entrenching the principles of good governance to ensure the country upholds its position of a shining example of democracy in the continent and maintaining peace during the transition period. Apart from that, he's yet to be seen publicly outside State House. He has also not congratulated President-elect William Ruto compared to his colleagues in the East African countries.
There will never be a conversation about this person fighting another Kenyan. Kenya will remain peaceful. Mr. President, take out your phone. Congratulate the President-elect William Samoei Ruto.
But according to political pundit Dennis Anyoka, the president is very much alive to the fact that the Supreme Court can rule either way.
If you are an incumbent and you have turned over power, then whatever the political position that you could have had, then you will want not to expose yourself up to the last stage. It is the most calculative move. It keeps off. Whatever the decision of the Supreme Court, he will abide by it. If choice of candidate, that is Raila Odinga, becomes declared as the president, then he will be happy. But if, in the alternative, Ruto becomes the president, then he will have shown that he actually let the process go to the end without really interfering and trying to push.
With 10 days to go before the Supreme Court declares their verdict, going by the constitutional timelines, the president still has very limited powers, like he cannot appoint commissioners in constitutional commissions or fire and appoint cabinet secretaries. However, he might remain in power for another 4 to 5 months in case the Supreme Court calls for a fresh presidential election and quashes the certificate handed over to Deputy President William Ruto.
At this point, it's not about shame. It's about accepting the facts as they are, that there's a different person who has been declared as the president-elect. The same has now been challenged. He does not need to get involved and does not need to muddy the waters, because whatever the outcome is not going to remain as president. I mean, he's exiting at whatever state, at that certain point. He has to either to hand over the power to Ruto or to Raila Odinga.
When it comes to the military final rights, he still remains the commander-in-chief of the defense forces. He will still have the final chance.
Your Excellency, offered by the Kenyan Defense Forces, present and ready for inspection, sir.
To inspect a guard of honor mounted by the defense forces when he will be handing over the instruments of power to whoever will be the country's 5th president.
It's the end of an era for the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, and for that reason, they'll have to accept that whatever direction that they would have taken them, whether they succeeded or failed, it is what it is.
The last month before August 9th elections, the president had a very tight schedule as he crisscrossed the country, opening various projects to beat the deadline of being an outgoing president. Chris Dairo, KTN News, Nairobi.
Right, so now slain Embakasi East returning officer Daniel Mbolu Musyoka has been laid to rest today at his home in Muwane village in Machakos County in a ceremony at